Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Qasim not able to join, but our guest today is Monica. So, Monica, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hi, everybody. I am Monica Full. I am from the Houston, Texas area. Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, I am an executive assistant to the owner of a large mechanical contractor in Houston. And from 5 to midnight-ish and every weekend, I am a small business owner. I started a freeze-dried candy company in January of 2022. And when I'm not hustling at work, I'm hustling for myself. So I am the proud owner of Lightyear Snacks. I'm about a year and a half into this, and we spend almost every spare minute making candy to make a bunch of candy addicts.
That's awesome. So, how did you get this idea to start a candy company?
Well, I have to credit my daughter with that. I was during the pandemic and, spent a lot of time on YouTube and ran across a homestead couple who I started following their videos, and they had a video where they just got a freeze dryer. And I started watching the videos about the freeze dryer and how they were preserving food. And, I thought it was great. And I kept trying to talk myself into buying one. And I was talking about it so much. And finally, my daughter tells me one day, "Hey, Mom, people are losing their minds over freeze-dried candy on TikTok." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? I've never heard of freeze-dried candy." So I started doing some research, and she was right. People are losing their minds over freeze-dried candy on TikTok. So it took me about 2.5, 3 months to talk myself into making the plunge, and got my first freeze dryer, did an event probably about 4 weeks after I got the first machine, and it was really well received. And I said, well, maybe I can make something out of this. So that was December of 21. I did the first event. In January of 2022, I incorporated, and so here we go. So we've done a lot of events since then, a lot of markets, some expos, some bigger events. I'm moving kind of away from doing events right now and trying to move into doing more wholesale and just grow my website and do a little more organic stuff so that I don't have to be out there for 3 days every weekend killing myself, or just kill myself at home instead.
Makes sense. So, what makes you better than your competition?
I don't know if I personally would say better. I will say I am incredibly particular about the items that I put my name on. Quality control is really important to me. I have a pretty high standard. When I run things, if they come out and my taste testers are like, "Oh, it tastes okay," I'm like, "No, it doesn't. Throw it in the trash. We're not gonna use that." So we have evolved our packaging over the last year and a half. We started off with pretty much the same packaging that everybody else was using. I've moved into more premium packaging. I develop my own artwork. I do my own labeling. I bit the bullet and bought the professional print machine. So we print our own labels. I now have some products here, show everybody products and show you what it's all like. But really, a lot of it is trial and error. It is learning what it is supposed to be like as a finished product and knowing when it's not right. And knowing that when it's not right, you don't go, "Oh, well, they'll never know the difference." Because it's very important to me if I put my name on something that it's a good experience for you.
So, in terms of quality control and tasting it and testing it, like what does that look like for you in your mind in terms of as you grow and scale this business?
Well, every batch has to be checked. Whoever is the lucky person in the beginning, you're like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to do all of this." And after you do it for a little while, you're like, "God, I want to eat another piece of candy." But you have to make sure that everything is finished properly. Some candies, and I have found this to be the case. A lot of people who start out in this business, these candies are very deceptive. And so you get gummy things and you freeze dry them and they look like they're done. They're big and puffy and they look great. And in a day or two after you package them, they start to shrivel up, or you taste them and they're still gummy in the center. And it's because yeah, they looked done, but they weren't done. And it's definitely a challenge. A lot of the manufacturers of the products that we buy, the original candies, if they change their formula just slightly, say their corn syrup came from a different manufacturer this time than they did last time, it affects the final product. And what worked today doesn't work tomorrow. And you ran it like this last time, and this time it didn't. It didn't do the same thing. And so it's definitely a challenge. It's really simply a matter of making sure that you're checking every single thing that you put your name on so that you know that your customer is getting the best experience possible.
Makes sense. So you mentioned going to events and having events. So what has been the best tool for you to get the word out about your business?
Social media. TikTok has helped a lot. Before I had started this business, I had quit social media altogether. I said, I'm done with it. My social media, my personal social media, I was one of those crazy kooky people who didn't accept a friend's invite from a person that I didn't actually know in real life. So I had like 40, 50 friends on social media that I had developed over 12 years because I would just, I didn't spend much time on there. And I started this business and I'm like, well, now I have to use social media. I don't have a choice. I didn't have an Instagram before I started the business. I had a Facebook account and more things came out. And, I'm not in my 20s. So I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. That's it. I quit. But then I started this business and I was like, well, now I have no choice. I finally got my TikTok page going. It's very slow. It's one of those love-hate relationships. I hate having to deal with it, but I understand that's where people are moving towards. So I'm working really hard to try and learn how to utilize the platform and make content that people want to watch without having to get in front of the camera, because personally, I don't want to get in front of the camera. So, but I'm just having to, learn to suck it up and do it anyway, because I got to give the people what they want, right?
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned, you're focusing more on e-commerce and your website. So what is the role of technology within your business?
Well, I couldn't do anything that I do without technology, to be honest, from the manufacturing side of it to obviously the advertising, the social media side of it, the labeling, the software that we use to create the graphics. I went into a pre-built website basically, and just customized all of that. And I really have I am so technologically inept. A lot of it, I just do a lot of fumbling through it and just try and figure it out. Thankfully, I have some good resources that I can kind of lean on and go, can you help me? I really need some help. I don't know what I'm doing. But a lot of it truly has just been kind of just figuring it out, poking through it and going, well, I hope I don't screw anything up. And I guess if I do, there's always customer service.
So in terms of like a pre-built website, are you using Shopify or something else?
Right. The person who I paid to design my website for me set me up in a Shopify site. And so I have been able to figure out most of the back side of it and maneuver. And I have to say I'm pretty proud of the website. My IT guy that I work with went and checked it out. He's like, I'm pretty proud of you. You did a pretty good job. I'm like, I don't know how, but thanks.
Awesome. So what is the role of artificial intelligence in your business, like if at all?
Well, I have found Shopify has recently added a program where it will help you write your product descriptions, which has been phenomenal for me because I am not a creative person. That has truly, that has been one of the biggest challenges for me starting this business is I am not a creative person by nature. And when making all of the candies that we do, most everything that we sell is a trademarked product. And unless you want to have your pants sued off of you, you can't reference anything that's trademarked. So everything has to have its own original name. The packaging had to all be original. And then of course you have to try and get cute product descriptions that are going to help get people interested in your product. And writing those descriptors was a challenge. So it's really great to be able to utilize that segment of Shopify, just plug in a few keywords, let it generate some stuff, and pick out what you like best, and then customize it to fit my own needs. So that has been phenomenal.
Do you view like an AI use case for your business for like a high level chatbot, for example, like as customer service? Like I don't know if you're cooking or if you're making the candy, and also doing customer service.
I actually haven't gotten that far into it yet. I get emails constantly about the Chat GPT, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to do with that. So I haven't gotten that far yet. I have to be honest. It's been a slow, steady growth. And again, I still have a 9 to 5, so I juggle my customer service, my orders, my processing, my production all around my 9 to 5 schedule that I go into the office Monday through Friday. So people have been amazing in being, understanding and patient. And I try really hard to stay on top of it. There have been one or two customers that maybe have fallen a little bit in the crack, but I try super hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
How do you manage your time? Like, do you have like family helping you out, or like, how are you able to do that?
Yeah, I do have family that's helped me out and helped me get to this point. And when I first started it, when I first got this business up and going, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, got candy in the machine, got ready for work, went to work, worked for 8 hours, gone from the house for 10, came back home, pulled that stuff out, switched some other stuff around, was up till midnight, 1 o'clock, and turn around and do it all again tomorrow. That was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. I've been able to get more equipment and, have had some help, which has really helped. And also being able to help get some inventory built up so that it's not that constant. There's nothing here. Everything is wiped out. And then you have technical problems with the machine or the products. And it was some days everybody asked me, why the hell are you doing this? And I'm like, I believe in it. My husband was like, I think this is crazy. I'm like, no, trust me. I know what I'm talking about. Just trust me.
That's amazing. See, like I love these stories because, and this is partially why we have this podcast, because people don't realize what it takes. Like, and really just the amount of effort that you've put into this business is really impressive. Like, working a 9 to 5 job, then 5 to midnight, as you said, and even waking up at one point at 4 in the morning. That is true dedication. Like weekends, like it takes a lot. It takes a lot to really build something from the ground up. It's not easy.
Oh, it hasn't been easy. And I have to say, I'm so very fortunate that I have been so blessed. I have met some of the most amazing people along the way. God has sent people along the way throughout my journey to help me grow my business. We now produce commercially. We started off as a little home-based business. So we were a cottage food business. We got to partner with a commercial kitchen. So, we now are a commercial manufacturer. We produce from the commercial kitchen. We have a license, we're a state licensed manufacturer. So now that opens up the opportunity to have the website, to grow the website, to be able to ship products. And I've shipped from California to Maine to, Utah and North Dakota, I think. I don't pay that much attention to where they're going, to be honest. I'm just like, I got to get this order out.
That's awesome. So what is your top business priority in the next 3 to 6 months?
Really is to try and secure some wholesale customers and to really create a loyal customer base. Every time, believe me, every single order that I get is exciting. I'm always happy for every order I get. But when I see repeat customers, that feels so great to see that, that people are really enjoying it and coming back for more. And that's one of the best things about doing when we're doing the expos and the shows is introducing people to products. And, when I first started doing this a year and a half ago, nobody had heard of freeze-dried candy. Basically, I'd say that at least 9 out of every 10 people who came by the booth had never heard of it. And obviously, here we are 18 months later, and that's more like, 4 out of every 10 people who come by the booth have never heard of it or never seen it before. But of those customers who have had it and they're like, yeah, I've tried, I don't care. I don't really care for it. I don't like it. It wasn't for me. And I always ask them, I'm like, well, would you just be willing to try it again? Because everyone does things differently. And what one person did that you didn't like, someone else may process differently. And now there are people who have a aversion to the texture of it, and I completely get that. And I always ask them, was it a texture thing, or what exactly did you not like about your previous experience? And we can see if maybe there's something here that works better for you. So when I get those customers who tell me, oh yeah, I've tried it before and I didn't like it, it wasn't any good, whatever it is, and they try mine and they're like, oh my God, it's nothing like what I had before. It's, it's so different. And I'm like, I don't ever want to say anything negative about fellow producers, but, I always try and tell customers, just give it a shot. If someone's willing to give you a free sample, taste it, because you never know. You might really be surprised. And one of the things that I really, really love is when older customers will stop and we do a bit of honey candy. Now, I'm not supposed to tell you that because I'm not supposed to say any trademark names, but we process those, and we would always ask them, did you eat them growing up? And they're like, oh yeah, I loved them when I was a kid. I can't eat them anymore. And so I'm like, well, you can now. You want to try them? And they're like, are you sure? And so we give them a sample, and they're like, oh, just the look on their face, the look of nostalgia on their face. You can't help but smile because you can see them going back in time, and they're like, oh my God, it tastes just like it did when I was a kid, but it doesn't hurt my teeth. And I'm like, see, I told you. So I try really hard to have something for everybody. We have the candy. Right now we're doing ice cream. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to continue with that. We're starting to do more fruits and vegetables, so people who are more health conscious have an option. I do some homemade products. I do a homemade banana pudding, a pecan pie, bourbon pecan pie. I do brittles that I make from scratch. And that's another thing, just like the bit of honey candy. Anything that was hard or chewy in its original state is going to be light and airy, crunchy, crispy when you freeze dry it. So, it's a texture shift. It's so much fun to watch people have it for the first time, or people who've had it that didn't like it and they try it again and it's a completely different experience for them next time around. That it feels great.
Yeah, I feel like you're onto something really good. I just want to ask, if you thought about, or when do you plan on taking this full time? Because I really see, what you're doing, and I'm like, you need it. This is growing like crazy. This is really cool.
Well, it is. I just feel like you have to be really smart about it because, like every other craft business and, the new businesses that pop up, the market is quickly becoming saturated. And unfortunately, a lot of customers are being exposed to subpar products by makers who, got in it thinking that they were going to make a quick buck, and they didn't do their homework. They didn't do their research. And so sometimes people are getting products either from lack of knowledge or, things are not stored properly or, again, I don't want to bash anybody else's products. I don't want to be that person, but, it takes time to learn. We all make our mistakes. We all think that we know what we're doing in the beginning. And honestly, this candy kicks your butt right at first. And really and truly, the key to that is making sure that you are testing everything before you give it to a customer, before you package it.
It's a crowded space, yeah. But I'm just saying, actually, I feel like that you're doing that. Like you're doing all these things that your competition is like. You're like, and just what you're explaining. Obviously, I haven't tried your product, but it's like I can already tell them like this is better. Like this is good. Like there needs to be more of it. And like I'm just thinking, it's like okay, like how is this gonna like as it grows, like what's like if we're gonna talk, even like in 1 year from now, like what's your vision for it? Because I just see what you're doing, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like it needs to be more in the market. There needs to be, hopefully this podcast can reach some people and get you some more sales. But I'm just like, there needs to be more knowledge of what you're doing.
I really appreciate that. Yeah, I would love, I was hoping that this year would be the year that I could say adios to my 9 to 5 job and make this my full-time job. But again, with the market getting so saturated, it seems like every other day there's someone new is popping up doing it. And that's part of the reason for moving toward the wholesale, to be able to secure clients to get into some shops, into some boutiques, where I'm not out there competing with attending an event that has 4 other people that are selling freeze-dried candy. And and I've had customers where I've been at an event with multiple vendors, and they buy from the first one that they hit when they walk in the door, and by the time they get to us, maybe they've already spent their money, but they try something and like, oh man, this was better. But they already bought their stuff. So it just get to a place where, it's a different level of competition really. And I would really like to see the website grow, where most of my sales come from that, and doing the wholesale. And then that could be enough to sustain me and pay the bills. And then I can spend all of my time just growing. I have lots of plans and lots of ideas and lots of recipes that I want to incorporate. I want to show you our banana pudding. So this is a fan favorite, and this is homemade from scratch. This is banana pudding. I don't know how well you can see it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So, again, from scratch, same recipe that I have made for my family for over 30 years. It's going to be crunchy like a cookie when you bite into it. And then as you start to chew it and it starts to reconstitute in your mouth, you get smooth, creamy feeling of having banana pudding in your mouth without the cold. So, and I always tell customers, I said, when else can you buy banana pudding, a bag of banana pudding, throw it in your bag. You don't need a spoon. Eat it whenever you want to. You have a piece or two, you can have a bag, whichever you want to do. Same with the ice cream. We do about, right now, I think we have 8 flavors of ice cream. This is real ice cream. I had one customer ask me one day, she was like, why do you call it ice cream? I said, ma'am, because it's ice cream. This is the same exact ice cream that you buy at the store, I buy at the store, and then I freeze dry it. And so it's going to be, again, crunchy like a cookie. And then as you start to chew it, smooth and creamy as it reconstitutes in your mouth. And I always like to tell customers, I'm like, if you've ever been to NASA or to the museum and you had the freeze-dried ice cream from the gift shop, same concept. However, we use a premium ice cream, and it is going to taste exactly like it tastes out of the carton. You're going to get the exact same flavors that you get. You just don't get the cold. So you have sensitive teeth. It's not going to bother your teeth. You're not going to get a brain freeze. It's not going to melt all over the back of your car. If you let the kids have ice cream, got them on your shoulder, you're not getting ice cream dripping in your hair. So it's just another way to be able to enjoy things that it's just in an easier way. And honestly, the ice cream to me was what sold it. When my husband kept saying, I don't think that's a good idea. He's like, that's not going to work. I'm like, I promise you. I said, you've never been to these craft events and these markets, and you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm telling you, these women go with their kids, and then their kids see ice cream, and they're going to want ice cream. And when they realize that they can have ice cream and they're not going to have a huge mess to clean up, I'm like, You just don't understand. You don't understand. We did the first big market. He understood. So
No, yeah, I would just say it's like what I was saying earlier. It's like, you really competition's always going to be there, but I think it's about showing your value, showing why you're better, because at the end of the day, like, you believe in what you're doing and you're doing a really good job. And I think it's like I mentioned, it's like getting that content, like sharing more of this, your personal story, like what you've done, why it's better, and what you're doing. I think like that resonates with me. And it's like for me, I haven't even tried your product, but I'm like, I already want to try. I already can taste it. I'm like, this is an awesome product. So I just want to say just keep it up. We're rooting for you. I hope that you guys keep growing and scaling your company. But if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media handles?
absolutely. So you can order online at lightyearsnacks.com. If you're interested in wholesaling, there's a link at the top of the website for contact us. Our contact information is also in the bottom of the page. So anyone who is interested in wholesaling with me, please reach out to me. I would absolutely love to work with you. If you just want to try it for the first time, make sure you go to lightyearsnacks.com, place your order. We can ship anywhere in the United States because we are a licensed manufacturer. We can also, right now I'm doing a $5 flat rate shipping. That was one of the things that I felt like was maybe holding some people back. The economy sucks right now. Let's just all be honest. And I feel like my products are all very reasonably priced, but a lot of times I think, people would load up that cart. And then when you get to that checkout page and you saw the shipping come up, those carts, that's where the carts would sit. I know for me personally, when I shop online, a lot of times that's what happens. I'm like, oh, I want this and I want this and I want this. And I get to the shipping and I'm like, oh crap, I'm not paying that. So I finally just decided to go ahead and, I absorb those costs to be able to help customers to have the experience and hopefully, gain some loyal customers and gain some following. And, when things improve, we'll address that at that time. As far as social media, we are Lightyear Snacks on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok as well. So you can find us on any of those social media outlets as at Lightyear Snacks. And Lightyear Snacks, you should be able to see us. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to reach out to me anytime. I am always happy to answer your questions. Remember, I have the 9 to 5. So if I don't answer the phone, if you call me, just leave me a message. I will be happy to get back with you.
Awesome. Well, Monica, as I said earlier, we're rooting for you guys and wishing you the best of luck. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks so much, Dan. We appreciate it. Y'all take care.
Thanks. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.